Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're gonna do a book review again. In October, of course, I read some books, so we're gonna talk about them. And technically I read 3 books in October, but we're only gonna talk about 2. Why, you ask? One of those books is, let me just grab them. One of those books is A Kingdom of Lies, and it's a sequel of a 3-part series. This is part 3, and then part 1 is called A Betrayal of Storms. So I am still reading this, or I just started reading this one, but that means I'm not completely finished with the series yet, and I kind of want to just do like one video dedicated to this series. So be ready for that. For now, we're just gonna talk about the other 2 books that I read. And let me just go through them real quick and show you, and then we'll do a deep dive per book. So the first book I read is Dukes Actually, and it's by Erica Ridley, and it's a series of 12 books. As you can see, it says The 12 Dukes of Christmas as well. I have not read any of these other books. I saw it and I was like, oh, it's like only a tiny book, and I was like, I kind of just want to have like a tiny story in between the books. So, and as you will see with my next book as well, I was kind of in a like historical romantic vibe. So yeah, this is one of the books I read, and then this is the other one. This one is called Phantom by H.D. Carlton. And before I even start, when I pick up a book from, in this case, the library, I usually don't really do that much research. I usually look at what it looks like, I read the back, and I'm like, sometimes I look inside. I like the way this looked with like the black pages that I can now not find, like this. I was like, ooh, I kind of like the way this is looking. So I picked it up, and then when I got home, I realized, I was like, I recognize this name. And that's when I realized this is like, would you call it, like a prequel of Haunting Adeline. I didn't know that. I haven't read those books. So I went into this book completely blind, not knowing anything. I don't even know what Haunting Adeline is about. So this review would be only based on this book, not the series. Although, spoiler alert, I do want to read the series now. But I don't know anything about these characters, about the world. I don't know anything. So I went completely blind into this book, and it is a good book to read on its own. You don't need to read the series, which was nice. But yeah, that's just a quick disclaimer. But yeah, like I said, it's by H.D. Carlton. This one is set in 1940. The other one in 1800s. Let's first talk about this book, Dukes Actually. When I saw this, and I don't know if someone else has it as well, but first of all, I see Christmas. Now, turned out the town that they lived in is called Christmas, but when I see Dukes Actually, my mind goes to Love Actually, one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was like, oh my gosh, Dukes Actually, like Love Actually, but then with Dukes, I was like, I'm ready. I am ready. Then I started reading, and it became pretty fast, pretty clear that this was not a Dukes version of Love Actually, not at all.
Disappointed!
So the main character, I would say, is a Carol Quincy. She lives in a town called Christmas. She's lived there her whole life. And she lives with her father. Her mom died when she was young, and her father never really got over that. So he's like, I would say, like depressed. He never comes out of his room. And every Friday, I think, she and her dad play billiards, like the game. And pretty quickly, I discovered this book is a lot about billiards. And one thing about me, I have no idea how billiards work. They were focusing so much on that game, and they were like, yeah, I need to do this and that to get this and that, and you have to like make your own rules, and sometimes it's like a minus point, sometimes you get extra points. Yeah, don't come to me. I have no clue. So that was already kind of, that was like, okay, sure. But I could like read through it, and it's kind of like you learn something new about billiards, or about something you don't really know anything about. So I guess it was like informative. Our main character, Carol, she is also really into architecture. Like she has this drawing book that she like draws in. Whoa. Surprise. But she like draws like rooms with like people in it, and kind of like how she would create it, or what she would change about a room or a place or a house, whatever. And that's kind of why we start out in this book as well. She lost her notebook at her neighbor's house. And guess who the neighbor is? The male love interest. His name is Adam Azurford? Azurford? Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm really learning with these videos, like with this one and then the last book review. Names and me. No. So I'm sorry. Anyway, the Duke of Azurford lives next to her. Well, he just moved in, and we kind of learn about him first from Carol's eyes, that he's kind of rude, he doesn't really talk much, and just a bit before this book starts, he invited the neighborhood for like a party, because he just moved into the town called Christmas, and she was invited as well because they're neighbors. Whoa. And she was on at that party, and she lost her book, and that's where this book starts, and that's how the two main characters like meet again. Like they have met before, but they have never talked really. And we also learned that Carol is pretty extroverted, and we learn from Adam's POV that he is very awkward and that he cannot talk to people. Adam wants to become more extroverted, so he goes back to his house in Christmas to turn his library into billiard room, so he can host parties and play billiards and become popular. It sounds worse than it actually is. I don't know. Now that I say it out loud, I'm like, how did I read this? Carol goes to his house thinking Adam is not there, but surprise, surprise, he is. And she kind of tries to like lie to him that she like lost her earring at the party, and that she needs to go to the library. But then Adam tells her that planning to turn the library into a billiard room. So she of course is all stressed out because her notebook would be somewhere in the library. But if he's gonna get rid of all the books for the billiard room, that notebook will be gone. And to her it's like her whole life. It's the only thing like she has for herself that nobody knows about. She offers to help. She tells him that they need to make like a list of all the books that he has, and in her mind it's like, okay, so now I can see what books there are here. So they spend lots of time together doing that, and then we come to the point that Carol is like, so why do you want a billiard room, like, or billiard, sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it in English really. In Dutch it's billiard, so if I call it that, I'm sorry. I think it's billiard. You know what? Before we continue,
billiards.
She was questioning Adam, like, why do you want to change this beautiful library into the billiard room? And he's like, well, I want to like have like social gatherings here. And like quickly enough, Carol like discovers that this Duke is not rude or anything. No, he's just shy. And now she's like, oh, let me help you. I am really good at architecture. and I know how to play billiards, so I can teach you how to play billiards, and I can create this room for you. So they do this, and she also offers him to have like lessons with flirting, so you kind of already know where that goes. Those are basically the two characters you read about. You have a few side characters. They're not really that important. They have kind of a subplots, but this book is too tiny and too like focused on the main characters to even talk about them really. I have to be honest, I don't even really remember their name. So what I thought of this book, like at the start I was really confused. Like, because like I said, I really thought it would be like a Love Actually story, and it wasn't, and it made me very sad. But that's okay, right? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read this anyway, because it's like a historical romance, and I usually pretty much like those. So I was like, yeah, why not? It's like Bridgerton, for example. It's like fun books to like go back in time with like balls and beautiful dresses and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I did want to keep reading, especially it's also such a tiny book, so you finish this book in what is it, like a day. So I was confused at first, but then I was like, oh well, this is kind of fun, and I really like the characters together. They had like quick banter, and it's like almost fun to read that like in this instance the guy or the male lead was kind of shy, and that the female lead was like out there. And the billiards stuff, yeah, it kept the plot going, I guess, but I didn't expect it to be so much about that. It's like she has the billiards and she has the architecture. I'm like, maybe just do the architecture plot, because the billiards seemed kind of unnecessary, but it's okay. And I was like, oh yeah, fun book. Until the end is, the end sucked so hard. I hated it so much. I was in my head, like I always do with books, I'm always like, somewhere in the middle, I'm like, ooh, how many stars would I give this book? Like, and then I already like think about it a bit. I'm like, okay, probably like around 3 or 4 stars, and that's what I had with this book. Like, it's a tiny book, but it was fun to read, right? So in my head, I gave this book like 3 to 4 stars, and that was like in the middle / ending already. But then the last few chapters, it's already a thin book. I'm like, it wouldn't hurt to just write a little bit more chapters. Like, even if there was one more chapter in this book, it would have been fine. But the end is so stupid. So at the end of the book, they have this like fight almost. I wouldn't call it necessarily a fight, but more like a disagreement. Like, they're both obviously, because it's a book, not saying what they should say, or like, and then like thinking that the other person thinks something that they're actually not thinking. The guy, Adam, leaves for London again in search of a wife, and Carol is left behind at Christmas, and she's like, wait, I didn't want to let him go. And so all of that unravels in the last chapter. Him leaving, her realizing that she kind of loves him, and then we go to London. They lock eyes, and that's basically like the end of the last chapter. And I'm like, it felt to me like this whole book was like so stretched out for like a tiny book. It was so stretched out from the start, and like really focusing on the billiards and all that kind of stuff. And then at the end it was just like, oh, I want to end it now, boom, done. I'm like, give me a bit more. Maybe that's how all the other books ended as well, I don't know. But to me it just felt so rushed, the ending. And I'm like, you have such a good like suspense. Like, that's what I really liked about this book. Like, the suspense of this book was like so good. And then you come to the ending, and then it's like, end. All of a sudden I'm like, where's the rest? Where's the rest? Like, I just missed like yeah, I just missed a few chapters. Let's go into writing technical actually. POV of this book is from 2 POVs. Third person, and then either from the perspective of Caroline. That's not her name. What's her name? Carol. Either from the perspective of Carol or Adam. Which I liked. I usually really like that in books, especially because you can read the other's perspective as well. And I really liked between them that they could communicate until the end. But before that, they communicated so well. Like, they were honest with each other, they understood each other. So I think that's really well written. I think overall it was well written. I didn't have any problems. So yeah, it was just a fun little book to read. Just the ending messed it up. Yeah, let's just immediately go to the stars, because I don't think I have much else to say about this book. I feel like in the time I've been talking about this book, you could have read this whole book yourself. So I would give this book only 2 stars. Like I said, I was thinking of 3 or 4. I think if the ending would have been better, it would have probably just been 3, maybe leaning towards 4. But the ending just, I was like, it just ruined the whole book for me. So yeah, 2 stars, sadly enough. Would I recommend this book? I don't, like I said, I haven't read the rest of the series, so maybe that's better, maybe it's worse. But like based on only this book, maybe if you're like really into billiards, I would recommend it, but I do think there are better historical romance books out there. But it's a nice in-between book. Like I said, like I went from the sequel of A Betrayal of Storms. I wanted something in between before reading Phantom, the next book. So this is a nice book, like kind of like a palate cleanser almost. But yeah, the book at the end just rage baited me a little bit too much. But yeah, so I wouldn't probably recommend it, but like I said, like it's a nice in-between book, so I would recommend it for that. If you're fine with getting rage baited at the end. Let's talk about this one. So, like I said, I didn't know this was part of the Hunting Adeline series. I grabbed this book because I like the front. I mean, it can be that easy. And I read the back a bit. It's like a journal page from a journal. The main character's name is Gigi, or Genevieve Parsons, and she is married to Jonathan Parsons, and they live in this place in Seattle. Gigi lives with her husband, Jonathan or John, and their daughter Sarah, which is short for Seraphine. We're gonna keep it on Sarah because I don't know. Who is, I think, 13 years old. The other main character is Ronaldo. We start out in Parsons Manor. This manor is built by John for Gigi. She's really into like the gothic. She's a really big reader, so she really likes like poems. And she has her own diary. And this diary comes back a lot of times. And I have some stuff to say about it. So we'll get there soon. But yeah, so we read about Gigi, I guess, the most. I would say she is the main character. Yeah, Gigi lives in this manor. It's this book takes place in 1944. You can see that as well, like every chapter. You cannot read that from there. Oh my gosh. It says like March 1944 and just shows that like throughout the whole book what date it is. We start out with a book that John has some debts with drunk people. And with drunk people, I mean the mafia. So we have Ronaldo, and he is part of said mafia. And so he helps Angelo, who is mafia boss. So John has been gambling for a little bit and he lost some money. And now he owes money to, guess what? The mafia. So that's kind of where we start out. And Ronaldo gets asked to keep an eye on the Parsons family. And so he goes to their house and he's like outside, like kind of lurking in the dark. And Gigi like pretty soon already sees him, and she's like, there's this weird man standing outside and he's just staring at me, and if that would happen to me, I would be gone. But Gigi is like all good. I guess she's not scared. Good for her, but I would have handled it so much differently. Anyway, she knows he's there. This happened for a few chapters. Like, we read a bit more about Gigi and her relationship with John and with her relationship with her daughter. We read also Ronaldo's POV to like kind of see what's going on with the mafia side of things. Ronaldo's character pretty early on gets like written like he loves killing people, as you do, and yeah, he's like a phantom. You get it? You get it? Phantom. Yeah, he can like enter houses like super quietly without making any sounds, and then he kills people for the mafia. And yeah, there's also this thing going on between families and mafia. What I did have at the start especially was I didn't really like Ronaldo's POV that much because it was so much name dumping, and I don't know, maybe those names come like back in like Hunting Adeline. I don't know if it's a mafia story or not. I have no idea. I didn't even know this was gonna be a mafia story, but it was. But yeah, so many family names get dumped on you, and then a son of this, and then their cousin, and then this and that, and I'm like, oh. In the end, I didn't even need to know half of these names, so I don't know why they were all put in there. Like I said, maybe it's for Hunting Adeline, I don't know. So I didn't really like his POV too much at the start. I did really like Gigi's POV. And we come to learn that John is losing so much money during gambling that he cannot pay bills anymore. So the bills start piling up, and Gigi finds like the letters that it says that they are owing a lot of money, and she gets stressed because she's like, well, what are we supposed to do? And John is like, no, I have it all under control, blah blah. But at some point he comes home every single day being completely drunk, and Gigi just knows. She's like, okay, so he's been drinking again, he's been gambling. We read a bit about like how John is losing money and about the mafia being like, we have to keep an eye on him. So yeah, that's where Ronaldo comes in. He's keeping an eye on the family. At some point he goes into the house when Gigi is alone, and there's like already like kind of like this chemistry going on, and he like, it's really weird at the start because he like walks into the house when Gigi is home alone, and then he just walks in and doesn't say anything and just leaves again. And Gigi is fine with all, well, she's not necessarily fine with all of it, but she doesn't like alert the police or anything. We also learned that Gigi is like, I wouldn't say like psychic, but she can like see ghosts. And we don't really get into that, so I don't know why it was added. Maybe it has something to do with Hunting Adeline, but I wouldn't know. But yeah, she can see like ghosts, and those ghosts are from the people who actually built the house. John, as like a gift to Gigi, he built her this gothic, like Victorian house. During the building of the house, 5 workers died, and those are the ghosts she can now see. But yeah, it gets mentioned, but then it's like it's normal, so maybe I missed something, could be, but yeah, it was kind of weird introduction to that, but maybe it would make more sense if I actually read Hunting Adeline. Now a lot of spoilers are coming, because I don't know how to tell you the rest of the story without giving spoilers. But yeah, she's obviously still married to her husband, but her husband is also becoming more violent and like also trigger warning for everyone. Her husband assaults her at some point when he comes home drunk one night. And yeah, since then, basically, Gigi cannot forgive John for anything he did. And yeah, during all that time, like, the Phantom Ronaldo and Gigi start, like, hooking up, basically. So yeah, that basically goes on, and then literally at the end, or like from like kind of like when they start to hook up until the end, it's basically either they are having fun together, if you know what I mean, or we have Ronaldo's POV that he is doing something for the mafia, and that's literally all we read about for the rest. So, talking about the ending real quick, I thought this book was way more sappy and corny than I thought it would be. I thought this would be like way more of a dark romance. It is a like cheating plot, but yeah, that like basically the end of the book, it's just them, and by them I mean Ronaldo and Gigi like hooking up all the time. And there's like not really a plot going on anymore. There was one part that I enjoyed so much. I don't know what it is, but I always have that when, like, obviously nobody knew that they were hooking up, and then John gets offered this job at Angelo's, which is the mafia boss, his, I wouldn't say company, but his whole thing. And apparently John is this really good businessman who is really good with numbers and economics and all that kind of stuff. So he's the person that gets in charge of all the money. And he's doing really well. And he gets his job because Ronaldo, like Angelo, there's so many names. Let me just get this straight. So John is in debt with Angelo's family. And he gets kidnapped by Angelo, and Angelo wants to kill him. And Ronaldo he promised Gigi that he would never have a hand in hurting John. And, well, Ronaldo felt bad, so he was like, okay, no, don't kill John. We might need him. And, yeah, well, ended up, John indeed got that job. And then they got invited to this big party at Angelo's house. And obviously, John brings his wife. And Gigi is also described as like one of the most beautiful women, and she has also always like the most beautiful dresses and always this like red lipstick on. And I mean, you can see it like from the front. I mean, like, excuse me, right? So yeah, she's like, she comes along, and well, guess who's there as well? Ronaldo, because he's like the right hand of the mafia boss. And I really like this chapter so much, because it's like, I really like it when characters, when they already met each other, but they like meet formally, like they get introduced to each other because other people don't know that they know each other, and like the tension in those scenes, and like being like having to like hide that you have a relationship going on. I really liked it. I really liked the tension in those scenes, and especially also in this one, it was so well written. So I really enjoyed that. So let's go into the rather technical stuff, because I do have a few points, and that's also what I'm gonna tell you next is also one of the reasons I didn't give it as much stars as I would have had otherwise. So this book is written in 2 POVs again, same with like the last book, but I do think, yeah, this book is written in first person, but from 2 different POVs. So we have Gigi's POV and Ronaldo's POV. The chapters get introduced basically by their name, or like the Phantom, so that's Ronaldo, and then Gigi gets introduced by the Raven. So you know whose chapter you're reading about, which is nice. I always like when they do that. I really like the writing of this book, but there was this one thing that kept annoying me so much. So after some chapters, a lot of chapters, but not all chapters, we get a page from a diary. And this is Gigi's diary. And I like this idea a lot, like having a kind of like a diary in between, like you can kind of read the thoughts of this person. My only problem was that I think not all the time, but almost every time, this diary page came after Gigi's chapter. So, to me, we read Gigi's chapter. We go through what she's thinking, how she's acting, what happened. And then we have a diary chapter, and it says exactly the same. Like, it's no added information, no added, like, thoughts or anything. Because we already read that. But we get, like, a summary of that whole chapter in a page. And I'm like, at some point I just started to scan over it. Because I'm like, I just read this. I know what happened. I just read it. Why am I seeing this again? Like, it didn't really make sense to me. Like, I would have loved if it was like Ronaldo's chapter and then Gigi's diary after. Because we read then Ronaldo's thoughts and then we can see in just one page what Gigi thought about it. I would have loved if that happened, but it wasn't. And it started to piss me off so bad because I was like, I just read this chapter. I know what happened. I know what you thought because you told us. And it's like, it feels like I understand that the diary pages are in the book because she writes in it every day and it makes sense. It just doesn't make sense to me that we're reading what's happening and then she's writing it down, what happened, and it's literally what just happened and what we just read, if that makes sense. And that just got really annoying to me. And yeah, like I said, at some point I just started to scan over it because it's like, yeah, I just read this. Like, it kind of takes you out of the book a bit because I'm like, I just want to keep reading, but then you get this page of her diary which says the exact same thing. So yeah, that was really annoying to me. At one point though, I really liked how the writer did this, but it was like more interactive almost. Like at some point Ronaldo tells her to write in her journal while he's there. In that chapter she's like reading out loud what she's writing down, and then at some point she gets distracted and she doesn't finish that page. But then at the end of that chapter we read the whole page because she finished it later on. I love that. I think that was so good. Like, that was, you kind of like read about it already in a chapter, but not all of it, so it doesn't like spoil it yet. And you kind of see like the afterthoughts of the chapter. So I really like that, but that was one chapter. The rest of it just felt like unnecessary to me. I like the writing in general, just not the diary pages. But yeah, the writer is really good at writing tension, at least in this book. I liked the two characters together. They were like kind of like on the same page. I felt like I didn't have that too much at the start. At the start it just felt more forced. Not necessarily their relationship, but their connection. But at some point you really like read about how Ronaldo could really like see what Gigi was thinking and what she was going through, and that Gigi like opened up to him as well and shared what was happening with her. At the start, like I said, it felt a bit more forced, but at the end it felt like natural almost. But yeah, then we're already at the point. I'm gonna tell you how many stars I gave it. And I generally think I could have given this 5 stars, but first of all the diaries just threw me off and I couldn't, so 4 stars was already better. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, and especially because I thought it would be way more dark romance than it actually was. Not that I minded at all, no, but yeah, 4 stars. This book is 4 stars. I would definitely recommend this. Like, even if you don't want to read Hunting Adeline, like this book on its own is like a fun book to read. Like, it takes place in 1940, so it's kind of like historical. You read a little bit about the Second World War, but not too much. And yeah, I in overall, I really liked this book. It was like a fun book to read. Just know there are a lot of spicy scenes in here. So if you're young, maybe don't start reading it yet. Like, just wait for a little bit until you are a little bit older, because it is like really spicy and it has a lot of adult content in it. Not only like love scenes, but also with death and assault and all that kind of stuff. So that is important to keep in mind. But if you don't mind all that, I would recommend this book because it's fun written. The side characters are written well as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this book. So yeah, a book review of this series will be coming maybe soon. I don't know, depends on how fast I'm reading through this book. I can say the writing of these books are not really my style, so it takes for me a lot longer to get through these. So I don't know when this is coming, but it does explain why I only have 2 books now to talk about. I'm right now reading this one, and there will be a series review of this coming. I just don't know when, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Before we go, of course, and the song of this video is by an artist that I've seen now twice in concert, I think. And I didn't know her, but a friend of mine knew her. And she was like, do you want to go see this artist that I really like? I don't want to go alone. And I am a person that says yes to concerts because I love concerts. So I went with her, and I love this artist so much. She's so good. She has a lot of good songs. Her name is Upsal. And the song that I think is one of my favorite songs by her. She has a lot of good songs, but this is one of my favorite ones. Is called Fake Bitch. Yeah, she did this live the first time that I saw her. I don't think she did it the second time, sadly enough, but she did it the first time, and it just, like I said, I didn't know her when I went to that concert, but it was so good and it captured my attention like immediately. And I'm not really a person that listens to lyrics all that much, but with this song the lyrics like captured me a lot as well. So give that song a listen, and then yeah, let me know in the comments what other books I should read. Let me know if you've read Hunting Adeline and if it's worth reading the other books. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.